So for today's adventure, we are at the Umtanum Creek Recreation Area doing the Umtanum Creek hike, not the Umtanum Falls hike. It's a balmy 9 degrees out today with nice ice flows on the river. We'll be able to hike in about 2 miles with really good trail, and then the 3rd mile the trail starts to get really overgrown, so you can do about 3 miles in before you have to just bushwhack. So a maximum of 6 miles a day round trip is what we'll be doing. Anyways, today's adventure, Umtanum Creek in 9-degree heat. So not even 2/10 of a mile in, you hit a trail junction. If you go to the left, you wind up climbing a steep hill. So we're gonna stay to the right, up the canyon bottom. So this is a hike that just a few years ago was devastated by the Evans Canyon fire. I think that was around September of 2021. So it's had not quite 3 years to recover. It's always relied very heavily on social engineering to make it work. So like I mentioned earlier, you can get in about 2 miles on this hike where enough people are hiking it to really have a quality trail. And then the further in you go, the fewer number of people make it. So the trail quality decreases dramatically over the 3rd mile. And then once you get out past the 3rd mile, the trail's just in rough shape. I did it about a month ago, and you're doing a lot of bushwhacking after the 3-mile mark. But you do get 2 miles of high quality trail, in my opinion. So it's a great little hike, a beautiful area. So just over 8/10 of a mile in, you're gonna hit a fork in the trail where you can go straight or hang to your left. And really, because this trail is socially engineered, you can actually work your way through either direction. We've done it both ways. We usually like to stay to the right and do the creek crossing that's coming up in just a moment here. So right about 9/10 of a mile, and we're at the creek crossing. So we'll see how people decide to navigate this. I'm choosing that route. So we're about 1.2 miles in now. And as you can see, the trail's in good condition today. Has compact snow on it. It's not uncommon for this trail to have compact ice in a significant way into early spring. So generally we would recommend bringing micro spikes just to have them. Today we're not needing them. But there have been days that we've come here where you couldn't walk without falling. You had to have micro spikes on to do the hike. So this is an aspen grove that the fire just completely devastated, or at least it looked like the grove was devastated. But because aspen are a single organism, they share a root system. With a root system during the fire didn't perish like the trees did. So there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of small aspen trees poking up now. Basically the grove completely recovered, which we didn't think it would. We were surprised. So we're 1.9 miles in now, and we're arriving at the 2nd socially engineered creek crossing. There's always been a creek crossing here, although how you get across the creek is much different now post-fire. Arguably, it's actually a better crossing than it used to be. So we're at the 2-mile mark. There's a wonderful campsite just off to our right. At this point, we're already breaking fresh prints into the snow, so nobody else has hiked up this far. And like I said, this relies on social engineering. And so the further up you go, the fewer people have come this way. And so over the next mile, what'll happen is the trail conditions will start to degrade. And we'll get about 1 more mile of reasonable hiking before you need a machete to go further. And when it ends quickly. It just goes kaput. The trail's still there, but you really have to do some bushwhacking to make it past that 3 mile mark. You have to be willing to do the bushwhacking. So on this hike, one of the things to pay attention to is there's these side gullies. And anytime you have a side gully like that, you actually hike up onto a mound of outwash that happens when you get flash flood events. So if you're looking straight ahead and you see a slight rise or mound on the valley floor, inevitably when you get up to that mound, there's a gully off to the side. So there you can see the skeletons of the aspen grove. The trail used to cut right down through the center of that grove, and now it's being socially engineered to skirt the outside of it. So right here, we've come across a spot where it looks like a deer didn't make it. Nugget. There's what's left of a deer here. So we should look to see if we can see if it's cougar prints or... It's all eaten up in there too.
You just drag that over here.
Nugget, no. So we're just over 3 miles in now. Should be coming to the end of the line pretty soon. Well, it looks like we still have a bit of a ways to go. There's the tree skeletons from the fire. Such a changed landscape post-fire, but still stunningly beautiful area. Such a short hike, but just really worth it. Look at that. So we're right at 3.2 miles. This is creek crossing number 3. You have to get across here and the trail goes up the other side. So I did this about a month ago with the dog. You can see nothing's been socially engineered here. And there was a lot of bushwhacking when we got to the other side. So we're gonna call this the end of the line for now until we can get back up here with some tools and do some trail work. Yeah. All right, let's head out.
Okay.
All right, so just over 6 miles and I think about 590 feet of elevation gain. We're arriving back at the trailhead, so we're going to call Umtanum Creek Trail. It's in the bag. And Savannah says,
get outside.
Nicely done, Savannah. It didn't feel as cold as you thought it would, did it? Not once you got walking. It's always colder by the river too because of the breeze. Anyways, Umtanum Creek Trail in the bag.